don't get it. The entitled players in the WNBA who mistakenly believe that they are owed something, they just don't get it. And I don't feel sorry for the diva of Dump Divas, Kat Engelbert. I damn sure don't feel sorry for Adam Silver, who will potentially have to step in and deal with these entitled divas. I have no sympathy for Adam Silver and Kathy Engelbert because they created this entire...
They don't get it. And that one line perfectly sums up where the WNBA stands right now. While the league is projecting catastrophic losses and expansion teams are paying hundreds of millions in franchise fees, WNBA players have submitted a proposal that would lose nearly $700 million over the next contract cycle. Not generated. The deadline to reach an agreement is January 9th, 2026, next Friday, and the two sides aren't even remotely close to a deal. But it's not just the gap that matters. The reason they're so far apart tells you everything you need to know about how this league is being run, and why the situation feels less like negotiation and more like a slow-moving crisis.
The other day, I took my daughter out to brunch. At 17 years old, it was finally time to have that dreaded talk about her getting a job. Now, in her mind, it's kind of a weird message coming from me because I don't have a job. She sees me doing what I love every day for a living, and for her, that's reality. I was ready for the typical teenage excuses as to...
Here's the context everyone keeps missing. Over the past 12 months, WNBA players have framed themselves as victims of bad faith negotiations, claiming Commissioner Kathy Engelbert is refusing to pay them fairly. They point to expansion fees from new franchises in Portland, Toronto, and the Bay Area as proof the league is swimming in cash. And on the surface, that argument sounds convincing. Golden State paid roughly $50 million for its expansion team, with Portland and Toronto reportedly paying similar amounts, adding up to about $150 million. But that's where the narrative breaks down. Expansion fees are not annual revenue. They're one-time payments that are largely distributed to existing team owners to offset decades of accumulated losses. The league office only receives a small portion of that money. So when players demand 30% of gross revenue, they're effectively negotiating for share funds that don't actually exist in the league's ongoing operating budget.
At ESPN, WNBA projecting huge losses in latest proposal from unbelievably entitled players. WNBA players aren't very good at a lot of things. There is a reason that the WNBA is the only nominee that has been nominated 3 consecutive years for the Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards. Hell, this league is such a failure. They have been nominated 3 times, and they have never come close to winning.
Let's break down what gross revenue actually means, because this distinction is critical. In 2024, the WNBA generated roughly $200 million in gross revenue, which sounds impressive until you realize that gross revenue includes every dollar that comes in broadcast rights, ticket sales, merchandise, sponsorships, before a single expense is paid. What it doesn't account for are the costs that keep the league running. Arena rentals, player salaries, staff payroll, travel, marketing, equipment, insurance, legal fees, and more, according to ESPN reporting. Even with that $200 million in revenue, the WNBA still lost between $40 and $50 million in 2024, meaning it spent more than it earned. Under the players' union's proposal demanding 30% of gross revenue, players would have taken about $60 million off the top before the league paid for one arena, one flight, or one team's operating budget, pushing total losses toward $100 million in a single year.
Over the last 12 months, and especially over the last 6 or 7 months, WNBA players have been playing the role of the ultimate victim. They have been claiming that Kathy Engelbert is negotiating in bad faith, when the reality is, Kat Engelbert is trying to prevent this toxic turd from being flushed, while entitled WNBA players, they are hastening their own demise. Someone please make it make sense. This is another prime example of how WNBA players have absolutely no idea.
This is where the entitlement becomes staggering, because WNBA players aren't just asking for higher pay. They're demanding a revenue split model that ignores whether the league is even profitable. The NBA's collective bargaining agreement gives players 50% of basketball-related income, but that split is based on net revenue after operating costs are covered. And it works because the NBA generated around $10 billion annually with strong profit margins. The WNBA, by contrast, brings in roughly $200 million and still operates at a loss. From a basic business perspective, this is simple. If you own a company that already loses $50 million a year, and your employees demand a contract that would double those losses to $100 million, you would reject it instantly. Accepting that deal would be financial suicide. Yet WNBA players are acting shocked that the league won't agree to terms that would only accelerate its own financial collapse.